the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that Makoni Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flags Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at Makoni Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, Makoni Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to MakoniSetupShop.com and learn why Makoni Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
Have you joined the fastest growing fantasy motorsports app yet? On Grid Rival, you can join leagues with your friends and manage your own fantasy team on what race fans are calling, hands down, the best fantasy motorsport app out there. F1 and MotoGP leagues are now live for the 2021 season. Joining a league on Grid Rival will make every race more exciting, more engaging, and of course, more competitive. Download Grid Rival now on your iPhone or Android smartphone. Grid Rival is an unofficial application and not associated with Formula One, MotoGP, or any of their athletes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to one of the most scenic race courses in the entire world and an absolute blast to drive. Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Well, now WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, but that's what iRacing still calling it, the Mazda branding here in the track name. 11 turns of fantasticness here in the beautiful Monterey Bay area of the state of California. My name's Chris Graham with the National Racing Network. It is a pleasure to have you joining us this evening, and qualifications already wrapping up. Let's bring in one of the local guys here. Mr. James Watson going to be joining us for the broadcast tonight. James, we're looking forward to a pretty good show here, bud.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely one of the craziest racetracks in the world. Watching all these top flight drivers try to tackle the corkscrew lap in and lap out. Oh, it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, we're going to follow along here with Scott Bradshaw wearing the number 1 plate tonight. A lot of different names than what we're used to seeing here in the Indy Pro 2000 series. Some names a little surprised that we're not seeing, actually. I'm not sure if there's something else going on in the iRacing service here tonight that might have some of these guys out, but
yeah, I'm wondering, because I'm actually watching a different split that has a few of the other guys that we're used to seeing, like Everett and Haller and Simon Fell in it. So yeah,
okay.
So we've got what's going on.
So we've got the wrong split. So let's do this. We'll be back here in just a moment. We'll get the right split loaded up here. And, yeah, We'll come back in just a moment with the correct top split for you here. We'll be right back.
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. All right, we're back here from Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. We got the right guys up on the screen here for you now. Following along with Michael Hollier making his qualification run. Oh, man, big moment there for the 12 of Christopher Lees through the corkscrew. Once again, we'll pick up Mike Hollier here.
How most corkscrew. That's not really. We're going to probably see a lot of that tonight.
I was going to say, that would not surprise me one bit to see that. Let's pick up Everett Paddock here as soon as Mike Hollier finishes his second lap. Here's Everett Paddock going to be your... He was very quick in the last two sectors of the racetrack leading into his qualification run. You'll see the names across the bottom of your screen. Purple sectors means they've gone quickest overall. Everett Paddock, 2 for 2. So far as he works through sector number 3 here, up the hill to turn 7. And then an absolute dive down into the corkscrew once they get past the top of the hill. James, we talked about it a little bit here, but Laguna Seca is not only pretty, but it's also an incredible challenge. Something like 8 stories of elevation changes around this place. It really is a challenge. Every corner you approach is unique and very, very difficult.
Yeah, this might just be the hardest track on the schedule this season because you're dealing with such extreme corners that you don't get anywhere else. It's impossible to really be able to practice here and get how you're supposed to take these corners the right way. Because, like, what other track has anything like the corkscrew? I've been around racing all my life, and I still can't wrap my head around the fact that we take super-powered cars like this around a corner like the corkscrew. It's just easily one of the best tracks in the world.
Yeah, that's kind of putting it mildly. It's a unique challenge. It is an absolutely fantastic challenge. Antonio Alvarez just going second quick on his qualification run, about a half second back of Everett Paddock. Looks like Luis Italo going to be the last car that could make a qualification run here, but he may have also had an issue as well here. Picking up Diego Ascenso's, he loops it through Rainy Corner. That'll be the end of his qualification run on lap number 2 here. So we may be going to grid here real quick. Let's tell you a little bit about this absolutely incredible race course. WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, located in Monterey, California, 2.238 miles. 11 turns, originally opened in 1957. Up until 1987, it was basically a backwards running oval with the corkscrew in the middle of it. Insanely fast layout that this place used to be. Quite frankly, I think I like the kind of infield section that they put into it. It creates a very difficult challenge. Turn 1, right at the crest of the hill, leads you into a hard braking zone for turn number 2. Just a really incredible challenge that these drivers will have to deal with. Tell you a little bit about the race cars. Manufactured by Tatus, they're powered by a Mazda-engineered 2-liter engine, 275 horsepower. You see all the information up there on the screen. And qualifications have finished up. It is time to head to the grid. As the cars get out to their assigned grid positions, let's get you a starting lineup here for tonight's race. Everett Paddock, by about a half second over Antonio Alvarez, will line up on row number 1. Row 2 will have Mike Hollier out of Illinois and Topher Roberts from California. Diego Ascenso and John Wilson will make up row number 3. Vincent Genero and Adam Wright in row number 4. John Dinkel and Nicholas Lemberger in row 5. Row 6 will have CL Tony Liu from Michigan and Christopher Lees out of the UK and Ireland. Simon Fell from California and Luis Italo will make up the 7th and final row here for tonight's race at Laguna Seca.
Yeah, let's run down into turn 1. This is going to be must-see TV because the way the corner is, it just lends itself to crazy dive bomb maneuvers similar to what we would see at a place like Ponza. So to see who's got the biggest things and the biggest bravery to help them facilitate these moves, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, we're It will definitely be interesting to see here. Let's tell you a little bit about the race. 24 laps will be the distance. Cautions are local only. Start, obviously, as you can see, will be a rolling start. No backup cars available here. And we've seen that come back to bite some of these drivers who are a little bit too aggressive too early. And James, they're heading up the hill here now. Turn number 7 is one of the trickiest parts of the race course. It is a very, very fast corner, but it also is pretty technical, and you have to keep so much speed in the run up the hill here. You could easily lose a half second or more if you mess up turn 7.
Oh my god, people always talk about the corkscrew in turn 1, but I've murdered myself in that little tiny stupid kink more than I have in the corkscrew. Either just carrying a little too much speed and sliding off, or hitting that stupid little sausage curve that's hidden by the undulation. Just catching it with the wheel and just yeeting my car all the way up off the track into the outside wall.
Yeah, it is very, very easy to screw up Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Pace car is in. Field is off of turn number 4. It is going to be a fantastic getaway for Everett Paddock. Mike Hollier to the inside. He's going to grab second quickly. 3-car battle as they head down the hill to turn 2.
Yeesh, Everett was
there's
shot out of a
contact.
cannon. Oh,
Trouble at the back of the pack. Antonio Alvarez going around. He did not have a good start at all. Adam Wright also having an issue. Let's get you the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay here as they work their way down the hill. Really looked like that 7 machine of Antonio Alvarez just did not get going.
yeah, he just kind of came into the corner like the 6 wasn't there. 6 was most of the way alongside. Antonio just didn't see him, and they made contact, and off the 7 went.
Coming around to complete lap number 1. Everett Paddock locked in a pretty tight battle here with Mike Holler. Diego Asensos, Topher Roberts, John Wilson, your top 5. Antonio Alvarez working his way back up through the field. Trouble on the racetrack for Christopher Lees getting off track. And get you a Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay of that one here. See what happened to Christopher Lees. Oh, yeah, just losing it right at the exit of turn number 10. So easy to get too much throttle down.
Yeah, there really isn't a corner on this track that isn't trying to kill you.
We'll slide back in the pack, pick up John Wilson, John Dinkle, and Vincent Genero. This little 3-car tussle is going to be the closest fight on the racetrack. Man, just such a cool run up the hill here and then diving things off into the corkscrew. Field really separating themselves out here as Wilson and Dinkle. Oh, Wilson goes around. Tough
How
break.
in the world did the 8 not destroy him?
I was going to say, that one is going to be worthy of a replay. Vincent Genero having an issue on the racetrack. Let's get you the replay look here. John Dinkle having an issue. Yeah, just loops it up, locks it up off the corner. Wow, what a great piece of driving there for everybody to miss him as well.
Yeah, the 10 didn't miss him. The 10 wasn't that lucky this time. He just clipped him with the left rear and ripped it off. Ah, that's a tough break.
So looking at the battles here at the front of the field, well, not really much of a battle here as Everett Paddock goes fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 18.30 seconds. That last time by. And he goes 0.2 quicker this time. He's going to set quick lap after quick lap, almost a second a lap faster than Michael Hollier. Let's slide back here, pick up Simon Fell and John Dinkle. You get a little bit further ahead here. Luis Italo coming around Adam Wright, right involved in that early incident. He's able to fight back through the corner, making their way down towards turn 5. This is another one, James. It is a deceptively easy corner. It should be taken probably almost flat out in the PM18s, but you can't screw it up in the slightest.
Oh no, there's not really a like I've said, there's not really an easy corner on this track. That's the fun thing about it. It's really a driver's track because you can screw up on it so easily.
Taking a look as they come down through that corkscrew. What a great shot from there. Really gives you an idea as to how deep you drive down the hill. As fast as you go up the hill from turn 7 towards the corkscrew, it's really turn 6 that you're going uphill through. You're down the hill just as fast to get back here to the front straightaway.
Yeah, the run down the hill has got to be the funnest part because you're carrying so much speed. And as we've seen a few times, it's so easy to put just a little bit too much throttle on before you know it, you're around. I can't tell you how many times I've gone through thinking I'm taking it the same way I always do, and then next thing I know, I'm facing the wrong way back into the wall.
Yeah, Tony Liu in the 13 just dipped a wheel off. That allowed Adam Wright to catch right back up in. He made a great run through turns 1 and 2, but gave it all back on the exit of turn number 2. Working their way up through 7 now. Adam Wright right up onto the back. Is he going to try the pass into the corkscrew?
Ooh.
Oh, that is such a gutsy move. What a pass.
You cannot execute a pass there any more perfect than that. Also, you have to give credit to the 13 for cutting him some slack, because if the 13 tried to fight any bit, they both would have been dead.
Yeah, that turned into a big mess in a hurry if Adam Wright and Tony Liu fought that any closer. Luis Italo up 6 spots after electing not to qualify tonight. He's going to make the move down to the inside of Tony Liu. Oh, and Liu's going to go around in turn 1. Big stop there for Simon Fell. He's got to get hard on the binders as well. John Dinkle was probably the closest one to the contact. Now we'll slide back up here, pick up Simon Fell and John Wilson. They battle through turn 5. This is the closest fight on the racetrack. Everett Paddock out to a lead of more than 3 seconds over Mike Holler. Diego Ascenso's up to the 3rd position. He's going to have Topher Roberts only about a half second back here as they come down through towards turn 11.
You know, John Dinkle has kind of the worst luck tonight. All of the major incidents have been literally right off of his front wing. He's like, come on, guys, stop spinning in front of me. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, you do your best to keep the car in one piece and under control, and seems like even when you do it right, it's not necessarily the easiest thing. These guys you saw there with Diego Ascenso's just dropping a wheel off, does it again on the exit of the corner. You really have to watch that you don't approach the DQ limit here as well.
Oddly enough, the track limits on those particular parts of the circuit are really lenient. Like, there have been a number of times where I've been like, oh, that's an easy 1X, and I've skated through. So you can really take a lot more road and curb than you can at most other places, like Spa, or even the last corner here before they kind of fixed that.
Yeah, that was something that in the real world you might see drivers go way out onto the green out there at the exit of turn number 11.
Yeah.
That is something that iRacing would penalize you at least a 1X for an off track.
Actually, they fixed it in this season's build. You can actually now go pretty far onto the AstroTurf without triggering the 1X. It's not like how it used to be. You can actually use that with no fear of triggering anything.
Looks like trouble on the racetrack here for Tony Liu. Let's see what happened here. Get your Hot Shoe Raceware instant replay on the number 13. Same deal, just a little bit too much throttle on corner exit. Little self-spin, join back in, and no problem there. Lou is back to the 11th position. This is the fight for third between Diego Ascensos and Topher Roberts. Pretty good battle here. Looks like the two of Topher Roberts really just kind of biding his time. Driven a little deep there into turn number 11, but Ascensos able to get the big drag down the straightaway. Frisky Canuck, also known as Frank Wynn, checking into the comments. Just finishing off a league race, so unfortunately he wasn't able to join in, but nice shout out here. Adam Wright was last at the end of lap 1. Fantastic recovery drive. We'll give you a shot of your teammate here. Good run opening up the gap to John Dinkle. Slide back, pick up this fight. This is for the 7th position between Dinkle and Luis Italo. Already working lap 9 of 24 here in the Indy Pro 2000 series. Make the big dive down into the corkscrew.
Really great, well timed, and again, you got to give credit for the 11 for not trying to put up a fight, because it's really it's not as bad as the corkscrew is what we've seen, but taking too hard of a fight going into turn 1 can also lead to a fair amount of disaster.
Yeah, it's the turn 1-2 complex, I guess you would call it. Turn 1 is really more of just a kink on the front straightaway. But it sets up turn 2 so absolutely critically. You have to be as precise as possible through there. Otherwise, you're going to lose all the momentum down the hill, and it really opens up the big dive bomb attempt.
Yeah, I'm just kind of one of those stubborn fools that don't really call kinks turns. That's why I've been calling it turn 1 all the time.
Yes, we're looking at you, Road America. The kink is not a turn, right?
That one I can see being called a turn. I've wrecked enough at that kink for it to be called a turn.
Kind of what we're talking about here is just past the start-finish line. This is turn 1. Everybody gets way down on the binders into turn number 2, the Andretti hairpin. The loop back out to turn number 3 and 4. That's kind of one complex as well. A little bit off track there for Diego Ascensos. That deceptively quick turn 5 in the big run down into turn number 6. This corner is practically a hairpin, but it opens up pretty wide on exit. Lets you get a big run up the hill to turn 7. Little bit of a lift should be all that's required there. Ascensos gets off track. Here comes Roberts. Thought about making the move into the corkscrew. A little bit of a lockup out of Ascensos. This battle getting good as they head down into turn 9. That's Rainy Corner. Turn 10, downhill, very quick, easy to get the car looped around on exit. And the incredibly slow turn 11. Used to be slower, in fact. It was a true hairpin that was taken at, in the 90s in an IndyCar, it was taken at something like 30 mile an hour. And then the blast down the front straightaway. Yeah, just an absolutely incredible lap here around Laguna Seca. Let's do this. Let's get you a full field rundown here as we work the halfway point. Everett Paddock has been absolutely spectacular here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, starting to catch up on some lap traffic. He'll make the dive down through the corkscrew. Multiple wins so far this season in these official strength of field races here on the National Racing Network. Coming up on Christopher Lee's to put that car another lap down. Everett Paddock has been just unreal so far here at Laguna Seca. Pick up the Praxis Motorsport entry of Mike Holler. He's running in the second position, up one from the drop of the green flag. 5.5 seconds back of your race leader, but he's got a nice 4-second gap back to the third place running Diego Ascensos. Those old Benetton colors of the early 90s there on that number 4 machine. Up 2 spots is Diego Ascensos. Just behind him and in a very tight battle here is Topher Roberts. Been a good show here throughout the race for these two drivers. Got to go back 13 seconds to find 5th place running Antonio Alvarez. That car has already had a little bit of an off-track excursion so far here today. As has Adam Wright. He was last at the end of lap number 1. Good recovery drive here up to the 6th position for Adam Wright. Picking up the 8 of John Dinkle. He's running in the 7th position. He's up 2 spots. The guy right behind him, the 6 of John Wilson. That Arrow McLaren themed livery. Team Spam running in the 8th position, down 2 spots from the drop of the green. Hard Charger so far just up behind Wilson is Luis Italo. He's up 5 spots after electing not to qualify. The AlphaTauri logo and livery on the side of that machine. Rounding out your top 10 and in the middle of no man's land apparently. There's Simon Fell having an off-course excursion at the top of the corkscrew. Nice time to pick up Simon. But he's going to keep that car inside the top 10. There's your race leader, Everett Paddock, making the run up the hill. We'll slide back and grab this battle between Diego Ascensos and Topher Roberts. It'll be 10 to go this next time by the start-finish line. Oh, the spin off the final corner for Topher Roberts. Loops it around under power. Going to give up all that space now, 7 seconds back. In fact, make it 8 and change. Back of Diego Ascensos.
God, that was... Oh, that's hard to watch. He probably would have gotten Diego, too, if it wasn't for that spin.
Yeah, he definitely had a pretty good shot at it, at least anyway. These cars lapping at 1 minute 17.66 seconds. Everett Paddock just went 1 full second faster than Mike Collier that last time by. Kind of give you the comparisons on some of this. The unofficial lap record belongs to Marc Genet, driving a Ferrari F2003 Formula One car back in 2012. 1 minute 5.786 seconds. That had to be an experience, ripping a Ferrari F1 car around here. The official lap record belongs to Elio Castro Neves, driving a Reynard back in the year 2000. 1 minute 7.722 seconds. Jorge Lorenzo in a MotoGP Yamaha at about 1 minute 20. So these cars are running about the same speeds as a MotoGP bike. What's kind of insane about that is I couldn't imagine doing this racetrack that fast on 2 wheels.
Hell, I'm scared enough just driving it in a stock car with a full roll cage. Like, I couldn't imagine having your butt literally in the air, knowing that one little screw up and you're yeeting yourself into a wall.
Yeah, that's something about Laguna Seca. It looks very wide and with a ton of runoff areas, and in a lot of the places that you seem like you would wreck, there's not a lot of space on the outside of the corners. Trying to remember, I think it was Brian Herta had one of the scariest wrecks you'd ever see down here into turn 1. That car going nose deep into the gravel trap and flipping wildly. So we'll give you the rundown here, and actually we'll show you the intervals here. This is between race cars. The closest battle on the racetrack right now is John Dinkel being 3 seconds back of 6th place, Adam Wright. Everett Paddock just putting on an absolute clinic here. Backing down off his best lap times a little bit, in fact by about a full second, but he's running the same lap times as Mike Holler is.
Yeah, studying all the intervals right now, it's really not surprising to see such a big gap. This really isn't a track you race. It's really one of those tracks where you're just too busy focused on racing the racetrack, because it's, as I've said a million times before, it's so easy to put a wheel wrong that you're kind of too focused on that to really try to race anybody else. I mean, we've seen some good battles tonight, but yeah, now that everything's kind of settled, well, you're not really going to see a whole lot of more action. You're just kind of focused on trying to bring her home at this point.
Yeah, this time by, we'll be at the 3/4 mark, and it'll be 6 laps to go for Everett Paddock. I mean, this really is about just not making the mistake at this point. Let's slide back here a little bit. Thought we were seeing Topher Roberts start to make a pretty big charge here back on Diego Asenso's, but that gap's staying pretty steady at 8 seconds. So we'll pick up second place running Mike Holler, give him some quality television time here on the National Racing Network. Trouble on the racetrack for Nicholas Lemberger. Let's get you a Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay of his issue. Not really a wreck, just doing the gentlemanly thing, stopping at the exit of pit road, let the cars ahead of them get around cleanly. The gap over 8 seconds for Everett Paddock over Mike Holler. One of the things about the sprint race format of these races, James, is that you're really not in a position where you're not worrying about fuel. You're really not even worrying about tire wear much. I wouldn't expect to see any big comers or goers late in the race here.
No, everyone's been pretty consistent, so there's not really a whole lot of tire wear issues. I mean, tires do kind of tend to wear a little more now with the recent updates, but at this point, no one's really driving aggressive enough for that to play in. And at this point, with the gaps, no one's even going to really be pushing hard enough for that to be a factor anyways.
Slide back here now also. We'll pick up Diego Ascensos. He was in a great battle there with Topher Roberts. Fortunately, Topher having that spin out of turn number 11. So down to 5 to go here. Let's pick up the 7 of Antonio Alvarez. Love the vintage Williams F1 livery on this car. Some of the open wheel cars, the vintage liveries don't work real well on. This livery fits this car pretty darn well as he makes his way down through turn number 8.
Has the 13 been running around most of this race without a front wing, or is my system just being stupid?
Let's take a look here. Yeah, Tony Liu does not have a front wing on that car. Lost it in an incident earlier in the race. Take a look here.
When he went off in the corkscrew and came back on the track, as soon as he came back on the track, the wing just literally fell off. And I was waiting for netcode to put it back on again, but it still hasn't put it back on again. And like with how he's driving, it doesn't really seem like it's affecting him much, but the man still has no wing.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking. He had an incident where he spun in turn 1. We'll keep the replay going here as he heads up the hill, because it looked like he did have an issue up at the corkscrew as well. Yeah, there it goes. Fell off the bottom of the car as he came out of the off-track excursion at the corkscrew.
Yeah, when I watched that, I'm like, I didn't just see that, did I? I must be seeing things and just went on about the race, but yeah, it straight up fell off. What in the world?
2.5 laps to go for race leader Everett Paddock. The man is a machine. New fastest lap last time by 1 minute 17.59 seconds. Last lap for second place, Mike Holler, 1:18.39. A second and 2/10 the difference. Catching up to 10th place, Simon Bell. I was going to say.
Like, that's Hamilton-esque to where you're destroying your opponent and then you just further crush their spirits by slapping them with a ridiculous fast lap towards the end.
Yeah, it's pretty unreal, quite frankly. Trying to follow along here, some of the close battles on the racetrack. I mean, it's still about 4 seconds is the gap between cars here. So, and let's put this up on the screen here to give you an idea of the quality of the field here. Everett Paddock, an A 4.99 license, 4,700 iRating. The entire top 7 are A licenses. Couple 3 Bs, 1 C. You're really talking about some of the best drivers in the Indy Pro 2000 series running in this race tonight. And Everett Paddock is just on an absolutely different planet.
Everett Paddock just built different. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah, we got to see some pretty good races earlier this season with some of the other big-name drivers. Greg Seitz we saw a handful of times. There's been quite a few as the white flag is out here for Everett Paddock. Not many times you get to see an absolute beatdown like this. And let's do this. Let's give you an onboard look here and show you what Everett Paddock is seeing here as he comes through turn 6, heads up the hill towards 7. I mean, that corner is almost completely blind when you dive off into it. Down through Rainy Corner for the final time. Swings it out for turn number 11 down the front straightaway. A night of dominance comes to a conclusion. Everett Paddock picks up the win at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Just coming across the line now, Mike Holler in the second position. Third place, Diego Ascensos with a good run down to the checkered flag as well. Pick up Antonio Alvarez. Topher Roberts started to catch up to him pretty significantly there. But it won't be enough down the stretch. Alvarez will come home in the 4th position. Topher Roberts coming home 5th. That number 5 machine at the back, Adam Wright. Fantastic drive there to come home 6th position after early issues. John Dinkles finished up his race. Here's John Wilson. He'll come across, see the checkered flag. Final car that'll cross the line, the AlphaTauri machine of Luis Italo. I'll tell you what, James, it's not often that we get to see almost perfection, but I'm pretty sure that's what we saw out of Everett Paddock here tonight.
And here, he just, like you said, he was a machine. There was no touching him. I mean, it was just not fair for everyone.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. Here's your results. Everett Paddock, your race winner by 9.6 seconds over Mike Holler. Diego Ascensos comes home 3rd. Antonio Alvarez 4th. Topher Roberts 5th. You can get the rest, a look back at the rest of the field here. Let's pick up our second place finisher here, Mike Holler. Mike, a very, very good run for you tonight here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Was anybody going to come close to Everett tonight, or was it just kind of a battle for best in class?
No, it's a good question. I lost touch of Everett trying to conserve a little earlier on. When I fought him before, I've gone a little bit too hard and too fast, burnt my tires out. So didn't want that to happen this time. Having talking time where I started falling back down the order. So didn't want to do that this time, and took it a little easier. And if the race came to me, it came to me. If it didn't, it didn't. But yeah, my whole race was just managing the gap behind and just making sure I stayed a respectable distance away from Everett.
Hey, it really was a good drive tonight. Thinking back to the start here, it looked like we had a couple of cars had issues getting going. Was that going to be sort of the end of the race in some respects when a guy like Everett gets out to the big lead that way?
Yeah, I don't really know what you're talking about. I didn't really see that. My focus was ahead. I knew I had a little bit of a gap to play with behind, but yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, it was a very good run for you tonight here. Good podium and a good points night late in the season as we start to hit some of the drop weeks. So congratulations on the podium finish tonight, and who would you like to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank Doug again for the setup. Ran his also on my podium at Long Beach, so probably should be doing that a little bit more. Didn't run at Daytona, and that didn't work out as well. And then Jason obviously for doing these broadcasts. But yeah, it was a good race altogether. Had a lot of fun.
All right, Mike. Well, thank you very much, and hopefully we're talking to you again next week.
Yeah, I'd like to.
There's Mike Holler, your runner-up finisher. Let's pick up your race winner, Everett Paddock. I don't know where to begin tonight with you, Everett, because from the drop of the green flag, you had a pretty solid gap out of that final corner, and there was nobody coming close.
This is a tough place to pass, so it's so critical to get in front early and just stay in front. So that was definitely the strategy this time. So it worked out.
At some point, does it become just a game of managing laps? I mean, James at one point during the broadcast said it was almost Lewis Hamilton-esque, where everybody you might think is in conservation mode, and you're out here setting quick laps that are a second a lap faster than everybody else on the racetrack.
Wow, Lewis Hamilton. I don't know about that one.
I mean, it was impressive. We're seeing 117s out of you, and nobody else was getting down even into the kind of lower 18s. Mike had one lap in the 117s. Everybody else was kind of mid 118s.
Well, this is a tough place, right? And I worked on the setup a little bit and felt comfortable. And it's, again, I feel a little bit more comfortable. My concentration is better when I'm pushing a little bit harder. So that I feel like that's the key for me to keep my concentration levels where it needs to be to stay consistent. So that was what that was about. Plus, what's funny about iRacing, I don't know if you guys noticed that it would get a little bit overcast a little bit, and I could feel the grip change in the track. I mean, I don't know if that's how good iRacing is or how good the setup was, but that, I could push just a little bit harder when it would get a little overcast.
I couldn't feel that if you paid me to try to feel something like that in iRacing. So it's definitely interesting to hear the thoughts of drivers that are kind of on another level here. Absolutely fantastic, dominant run for you tonight. Who would you like to thank?
I'll just, maybe out to all the Indy Pro regulars, just keep the series strong. Appreciate all the support. Looking forward to next season too. Got a strong schedule coming out. So, and thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast.
All right, Everett. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you joining us tonight, and hopefully we're talking to you again next week.
Yeah, it'll be the Oval. That should be fun. That'll bring out some new customers. So let's see if there's some new blood coming out. So look forward to it. Take care, James. See you, Chris.
You too, Everett.
Yeah, there you go. There's Everett Paddock, your race winner, and my goodness, man. The guy's as cool as it comes. Let's get you the final results here. One final time, Everett Paddock, Mike Holler, excuse me. I promise, Mike, I'll get your name right. Diego Ascensos standing on the podium tonight. James, what more can we say about the job that Everett Paddock did here?
Yeah, I mean, that's alien type driving right there. It's just us mere mortals can only hope to someday get to within a second of him. Like, you have to be at the top of your game to be able to be that fast here with this car, that consistent. So I was just in awe watching him go around this place.
Yeah, it was impressive to say the least. So with that, we will wrap up our night of broadcast mediocrity here. Sorry about getting the wrong split up here for you guys earlier on the screen, but this was a ton of fun tonight. We had a blast. For James Watson and everybody here at the National Racing Network, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you tomorrow night from Linda Speedway, Jonestown, Pennsylvania. Have a great night, everybody.